left my career and everything, and I decided to be with my husband. Then I had my son there, so got busy as a mom.
Right.
You know, a full-time, lifelong job.
Of course.
I have always believed in family. You know, I would just apply, go for interviews, and it took me 4 months to find a good job. Right now I'm a mortgage advisor because I love doing mortgages. We were the first Bollywood club in Edmonton.
Okay.
If I have to say what are my goals in my life, you know, having a nice, peaceful, happy family life. I have always believed and made sure that every woman is financially independent. We have to teach our daughters, no, you being independent will be an asset to the family.
Absolutely. What is something about you that nobody knows that you'd like to disclose? Hello, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, Adab. दोस्तों, मैं हूँ Sharon Ali and you're watching Hunny Walia shows. आज की segment में, through the eyes of a woman, we have with us Rahil Verma. Rahil, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you, Sharon, and thank you to Hunny for having me here again.
So Rahil, you were born in India, lived in the States for a while, and then moved to Edmonton.
Yes.
Can you give us a background on your journey with that, please?
For sure. So obviously I was born in India, brought up, raised, married in India.
Okay.
I finished all my education, you know, moved to Mumbai, and then my husband, because he's a software engineer, he decided to move to US because in 2008, I mean, during that time, everybody wanted to go to whoever was a software engineer just wanted to go to US because that's where the major projects and everything was.
Okay.
So yeah, I left my career and everything, and I decided to be with my husband. So moved to United States. He was working, I couldn't because of my dependent visa.
Okay.
But then I had my son there, so got busy as a mom.
Right.
You know, a full-time, lifelong job.
Of course. What career did you have in India that you had to
I was so I finished my MBA Marketing and Finance, and I was in training and development.
Okay.
So I was working with financial institutions, you know, for the new recruits for ASMs and sales training, and you know, in India, people are also, English is not first language for many people.
Right.
And in the corporate world, you need to, you know, bridge that gap.
Yes.
So I was doing those behavioral trainings and everything. So I was a corporate trainer.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So I left that, moved to United States.
How did you feel about leaving that? Your job to move to the States, was that okay with you, or?
Yes, that was actually, you know what, I have always believed in family.
Yeah.
And when it comes to family, I don't take a second thought. So for me, moving with my husband was most important thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, long distance relationships don't survive.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's tough.
it's tough. So this was much easier.
Yeah.
You can say.
Yeah, of course.
Plus I was getting to get out of India, you know.
Yeah, which is nice, right? Go into another country and start off fresh.
Yeah, and then I had my son there, so, you know, I never got a time to think that, oh, I left my job.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I was enjoying my time. I was enjoying the fact that I'm with my husband. Then I had my son, so, you know, we were just enjoying. And then my husband decided to move to Edmonton.
Okay.
For his work again.
Right.
And I was like, okay, let's go to Edmonton now. Let's see the world at company expenses.
Yeah, why not?
Right? So that's how I moved to Edmonton. Funny thing is, the move was only for 9 months.
Okay.
But Edmonton's home now.
Now you've been here for how many years? Which was supposed to be 9 months.
6 years.
Wow.
So this place just drags you in, soaks you in.
Yeah, exactly. So what was it like going from India to like a new country, to Canada? Were there any, do you have any bad experiences? Were you easily, you know, adapted to the Western culture, or?
I was adapted to Western culture easily. Like, it didn't take me long because you know, when I was in India, my entire education has been in a Catholic school.
Okay.
So that was not a challenge at all. But yes, I would say one thing, that coming to Edmonton, because now I could work, right?
Right.
I got my open work permit. I applied for it because of my qualification and everything.
Right.
I got an open work permit. Finding a job was hard. Like, it was tough.
Yeah.
You know, people would question you all the time. And there was a point where I went for an interview and I said to the lady, you know, I was jobless, but I'm not worthless.
Right? So what kind of questions did they ask you that you were kind of...
You know, why did you have the gap and all that stuff, right?
Okay,
because from 2008 to 2014, I didn't work.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to prove people that, you know, even though I didn't work,
yeah,
I was still caught up on what was happening around me.
Right, exactly.
Right? So that was the toughest thing I had to face.
That must have been frustrating.
It was, you know, I would just apply, go for interviews, and it took me 4 months to find a good job.
Good. Okay, so were you applying in your field then, or were you kind of just looking around, in and around your field, or like in marketing?
I'm major marketing MBA, right? So marketing is a very wide spectrum, right?
Yeah.
You can go retail, you can go banking. I tried my field, but you know, again, every country has its own certifications and everything.
Yeah.
So there were certain criteria I had to qualify for, which I couldn't because I didn't have the Canadian work experience. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm still marketing. I can still do. So the first job I landed was sales job.
Okay.
Wherein I would do door-to-door knocking.
Okay. Yeah.
I did that in Canada.
Yeah. That must have been interesting.
That was interesting. That was a learning curve, you know, because you've been training and all of a sudden now you're doing the footwork.
Yeah.
So it was like starting from scratch.
Yeah, basically. So was it like, when you say knocking on doors, was it like sales that you were doing?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That must have been tough.
That was, I was for, you know, one of the sister for concerns for TELUS.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So you know how they do, if somebody has Shaw, then they ask,
yes,
do you want TELUS?
Yeah.
So I did that.
Okay.
And then, you know, now I had a work experience to show. So 2 months later, I got a good job.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it does work out in the end then.
It does.
A little bit of struggles, I think, at first, but eventually it'll work out, right? They say you can't get where you're at without being, you know, with the hard work.
It does.
Yeah,
And it's a learning curve, and, you know, learning should never stop.
Absolutely. I completely agree. Yeah. So marketing and finance, what made you go into that sort of field? Was it a family kind of background thing, or is it something that you've always kind of wished?
Family, yes.
Okay.
But not because of it was a background family, but because I didn't want it to do or pursue my career in science, because my dad is a physicist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So he wanted me to be an engineer or a physicist. And I was like, I am not doing that.
You mean not a doctor?
No. So I wanted to do something against what my dad was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But
of course.
I always had interest in commerce.
Okay. Yeah.
So I couldn't do BCom because my dad didn't want me to do BCom. But then I was like, you know, after my BSc, I will do what I want.
Right. Well, good for you for standing up for yourself. That's great.
Oh,
good for you.
Yeah, I had to.
How was your father with that, though? Was he okay with that?
He had no choice.
True, he didn't have a choice. But okay. Well, there you go.
Like,
Dad, I'm doing this, that's it.
My daughter is so stubborn. He gave me a challenge. You know, it's funny. He gave me a challenge. He thought that I will never make it to the entrance exam for MBA. He said, you know, in 20 days, this is the MAT exam that you have to clear to get into MBA program in India. And he said, people study for 6 months. How are you going to clear it in 20 days? So, you know, he thought that, you know, she's going to fall off, she's going to fail the exam, and then she'll end up doing what I want.
Right.
To his surprise, I cleared the exam.
You proved him wrong.
Yes. And not just cleared, like I was top 100.
Wow, that's great. Good for you.
Yeah.
So this definitely was your calling.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. So,
great.
And my dad was like, so I went to him and I said to him, there you go.
And what was his reaction?
He was like, he couldn't fall off from his own promise, right?
Right.
There was no way out.
Right.
There was only one way in. So that's how I did my MBA.
So are you an only child, or do you have sisters and brothers? Or
I have a brother.
Okay.
He's 6 years younger to me. He is settled in Bangalore.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's a software engineer. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And your husband is too?
I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you say your husband's a software engineer too?
My husband is, my brother is, my husband has two sisters, and both their husbands are too.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Maybe it'll go on to your son then, or?
No. No.
No, it stops there, does it?
It stops there.
So since then you've been in the banking industry. So what is that like for you there? Do you give advice to clients, or what's your kind of?
So yes, I started off as a teller. Like I said, I had to prove to the world again that I'm worth what I am worth.
Right.
So yes, I started off as a teller, moved my way up, cleared all the certifications needed to pursue my career ahead in banking, and right now I'm a mortgage advisor because I love doing mortgages. But a year and a half ago I was a financial advisor, and I would do mortgages, investments, banking, small business, everything. Yeah, so a lot of client-faced scenarios.
Right.
If clients are there, we are there.
Right.
Clients are not there, we're not there.
Exactly. So you probably handle all the finances at home then?
I try to.
Okay, you try to?
I try to.
Well, I would say you're an expert on that, aren't you?
I am, but sometimes it's easy to convince a client.
Yes, this is true. Yeah.
Than convincing a husband.
Try to convince your husband is a bit different, right?
So
yeah.
Two different things.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Sometimes a struggle.
Yeah, but no, I know, like I do take care of a lot of running around part in the house with the banking and everything. Like when we were getting our house and we were doing our mortgage, my husband didn't know anything. I just told him, just sign here, and he did that.
And he did that. Well, there you go. That's not trust. What is?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you have actually been really active in the community as well. You've been on some boards and you've done a few things. One of them being the Bollywood Club.
Yes.
So tell us what that was all about.
So me and a good friend of mine, actually a good friend of mine, she was a pioneer of the club. I just joined her.
Okay.
A month later when she started it. Yes, we were the first Bollywood club in Edmonton. Okay. Because there were so many clubs and parties would have it, but nothing like Bollywood. So it's glad to be a pioneer in that field. Right. And yes, I used to teach Bollywood dancing too.
Oh, okay.
I taught it for 2.5 years.
Nice.
And and other than that, I was a president for a community league that I used to stay in. So a lot of community work involved, especially within the community members and City of Edmonton. Right. And juggling between them.
So what kind of things would you do with the community then?
So community league, Edmonton is divided into community leagues. It's like, sharing city's work within your own community. Right. Volunteer basis, not paid.
Volunteer,
Not paid.
Okay.
So, especially with the older neighborhoods, the communities are more active. So, doing events in the communities or, taking care of small little things like infill projects or, if there's construction needed, like, sewer lines or anything. So it has to run through the community league.
Okay, so you kind of take care of
So I kind of took care of that. Then there's a community park, so you have to be involved with the park.
So this was on a volunteer basis. So what made you go into that? Because you had a young child then too, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
When I came to Edmonton, all I knew was my son and my husband. Okay. Right? I didn't know anybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
So for me, and I'm a very social person. Right. Like between me and my husband, I'm more social than him. So that was the reason I got involved with the community, to know.
That's a great idea.
Yes. Yeah. To know, how the city runs, what can I do? Yeah. Right. Yeah. And plus, there was a little selfish reason too, because, when what I have learned in my past is, people in Edmonton love community work. And when they see that on your resume, they value you.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that is an advice piece I'll give to all my viewers. If you're
Right.
struggling with a job, get involved in a community or some kind of a volunteer work.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Because
I
you
would never
make
thought of that.
connections, right?
Yeah, that's actually very, very interesting.
Yes.
So how did you find out about that? That it would be like look good on the resume and it's
Well,
because
I
that's
didn't
very
find out.
interesting. I didn't know that would
I
be
didn't
such a
find
big-
out. I learned it over the years
Okay,
because
okay.
anytime I would tell in my interviews that okay, this is the work I've done in my jobs in India,
Right, right.
and they'll be like okay, but the moment you say that I am the league president or I'm part of this league or whatever, they're like, oh, tell me more about it. So you see that
Yeah.
that difference made me realize that okay, I am doing something right.
Right, exactly. And I think it's the fact of actually volunteering in a community shows that you have that passion to volunteer and you have that
Yes.
interest and you want to learn about the community and what goes
Absolutely.
around, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great idea. That's good to know for our viewers too.
Yeah,
To get involved with
100%.
your community.
Yeah.
So what are some of your goals in life? Is there anything you're trying to achieve at this point, or do you feel that you're settled in where you want to be, or?
You're never settled, right?
Yeah.
So you always think, okay, I'll settle when I retire.
Yeah.
So if I have to say what are my goals in my life, having a nice, peaceful, happy family life. But at the same time, I have always believed and made sure that every woman is financially independent. And when I was not working in States, I did feel a little, part of it that I'm dependent on somebody. But being that financial independence doesn't mean that you're taking away yourself from the family.
Right.
It just means you can contribute better.
Right. Exactly.
In given circumstances, you can come in handy. Be it your income or your experience or anything. So that is something that I've always believed, and I worked towards it. And I tell people that make yourself a little financially independent.
And I think that's really important too, because I had a friend too, and her husband does everything. So unfortunately, her husband passed away. Well, now she's stuck. Right? She doesn't know what to do, like where the mortgage is coming from, bills. And I agree with you there that ladies, you should be financially, independent and know at least a little bit about where the money's coming and going, type of thing. I agree with that there. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's we all grew up with a mindset in India that. Being from the community we all are, that daughters, they study, they don't need to study, they don't study, their husband will take care of it. We have to break that mindset.
Yeah.
We have to teach our daughters, no, you being independent will be an asset to the family.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's nice because that'll go on to their children as well, right?
100%.
Pass it on to their daughters and that too.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting stuff. So at this point, we are going to get to know you a bit better and ask you some more questions,
Sure.
some fun questions. What is something about you that nobody knows that you'd like to disclose?
Oh.
Unless you're a complete open book.
Maybe I am. I have no clue. I sing sometimes. That is something that people don't know about me.
Well, that brings me to my next question. Do you have a hidden talent? So you sing, you like to sing.
I do have I do paint. So painting everybody knows.
Okay.
Dancing everybody knows.
Yeah.
Right? But singing, nobody knows.
Nobody knows. So you're going to bring that out to the crowd anytime soon?
One day, maybe.
One day.
Let it be hidden.
Would you say you're a stubborn person?
Yes, I am.
Very stubborn?
Very, very stubborn.
Very stubborn at home with your husband, or just everybody? Or whoever will just kind of take it?
I'm just stubborn. I'm not adamant, but I'm stubborn.
But you're stubborn. What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever done?
Besides falling in public?
Oh, jeez, I've done that too. Oh my God. First thing you do is look around to see if anyone's watching.
I have done it many, many times. And the first thing I'm like, you don't feel the pain, but you just think that, is anybody watching?
The embarrassment is the worst part, right? Exactly.
I don't know. I may have done many, many embarrassing things. Like many of them. Everybody does it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I'm in Edmonton now, so in Edmonton for sure.
Yeah.
But, getting more involved with the community.
Oh, good.
And, reaching out to women whom I think that, should should participate in the financial independence.
Okay.
So I do see myself, I do plan to, bring up something that I can, reach out to those women.
Right.
So that I can tell them, like, look, it's not about, you being independent.
Right.
It's more about you being more strong.
Exactly. The learning aspect of it too,
Yeah.
right? Exactly. How do you think COVID has affected you the most?
Well, I'm a social person.
Yeah, I agree. Me too.
I love meeting people, and that is, COVID has affected that part of my life.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yes. Even though for my job, meeting people, going out is important. Well, I was still busy, thank to the God.
Yeah.
But my social side is greatly impacted.
Yeah. I guess with a lot of people out there too, right? It's that.
Yes.
And we as human beings, we need to socialize. It's
100%,
something that. Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Exactly. How old do you think is middle age?
60?
60, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it'd be like 40s or something, or 45.
Wow, no. You haven't heard the new trend. 30s is the new 20s.
40s is the new 30s.
Exactly.
Right?
So
50s
60.
is okay, I agree with you there. Everyone has a weird smell that they enjoy. What's yours?
I enjoy my attar. I use a lot of attar.
Yeah.
People ask me, when I go out, what are you wearing? What perfume are you wearing? And I'm like, it's attar.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Actually, some of those smell really nice, actually.
Some of them, and some of my favorite ones are from Dubai, Ajmal.
Yes, I have that one.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. So
Beautiful smell.
Yes. So I love pleasant smells.
Yes.
But some of the weird smells, I don't think I can handle anything else.
Like some people like the smell of gas.
Petrol.
Gasoline.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff.
That is something I can enjoy, yeah.
What's the best advice someone has ever given you?
Well, when I started my career before my marriage, I had a mentor, and he, till this date, I see him as my mentor. And he said that, when two people are talking about somebody, never comment. Never make a comment.
Yeah.
And I've always followed that.
Yeah.
And stayed out of trouble.
That's actually I was just going to say a very good way to stay out of trouble. Very good way.
Yeah. Never comment.
Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah.
Rahil, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your sharing your knowledge and your journey through life with us. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody.
और हमारे guest के लिए thank you so much for all your love and support. If you'd like to be on the Hunny Walia shows, please contact us or inbox us. For more Hunny Walia shows, log on to our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, take care.